The head coach of your Rhinos is Bob Lilly. He's assisted by Mark Polisic. The goalkeeper.
USL soccer from Capelli Sport Stadium in Rochester, New York. The push for the playoffs continues as the Rochester Rhinos host the Ottawa Fury FC. A pleasant evening, a fall chill in the air, excellent game conditions. Pat O'Keefe and Joe Giuliano joining you tonight. Teams with plenty to fight for. Rochester trying to get in the top 4, maybe even higher than that. Ottawa on the outside of the
former Rochester Rhino. He is found his goal-scoring form. He's got goals in 4 straight games, 7 on the season. He was known as the freight train in Rochester. He'll look to do some damage against his former team.
Rochester playing well, 2 wins in a row, 3 in their last 4, but tonight a little shorthanded without their leading scorer, Wall Fall. A compilation of yellow cards keeps him out tonight, so others want to step up to the Rhinos.
Johan Graf, he's an opportunistic striker, a great nose in front of the goal. He's got 6 on the season. He'll have to step up and pick up those 8 goals for Wall Fall have left off.
Graf will be the starting forward for Rochester. But first, let's talk about the Ottawa starting lineup. Callum Irwin is in goal. He's played every minute of the season for playing in his 100th career game for the Fury is in the midfield. He's the captain along with Jamar Dixon, Gerardo Bruna, and Jonathan Barden, and Dos Santos, who you mentioned, Joe, and Tucker Hume, the 2 forwards for Ottawa, coming in with a record of 7-9-9. The Rhinos have Dan Lynn, the local kid, in goal. 3 defenders for Rochester, led by Joe Farrell, the center back, Ryan Felix, and Sergio Campbell. 6 midfielders, Ryan James, the captain, Canardo Forbes, Cristiano Francois, Ray Lee, Jalen Brown, and Julian Boucher. And as we mentioned, Jochen Graf up front, 6 goals on the season, second on the team for the Rochester Rhinos, who are 11-5-8. Looking to move into the top 4 in the Eastern Conference of the USL standings, with the playoffs on the horizon. Just 7 games left in the regular season after tonight for the Rhinos, 6 for Ottawa, and it's crunch time in the USL regular season, and it continues here in Rochester tonight. We'll be back with the first kick coming up next from Capelli Sport Stadium.
Bringing in Logan McDermott from Empire United Soccer Academy. They'll be participating in tonight's ceremonial first kick presented by M&T Bank. Rochester, are you ready? Rhino fans are...
Welcome back to Capelli Sport Stadium. A beautiful Saturday night in Rochester. Beautiful night for some soccer. The first Saturday after Labor Day, late summer or early fall, depending on your perspective. And we are ready for first kick between the Rochester Rhinos and the Ottawa Fury FC. Third and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. Rochester with a win and a tie so far. And the Rhinos, without their leading scorer, Walt Fall, sitting out with a compilation of yellow cards, underway here in the first half. Send it wide to Ray Lee on the left-hand side. Rochester starting those three defenders that head coach Bob Lilly has done several times throughout this season. Lilly, his second stint as the Rhinos head coach, a four-time USL Coach of the Year, and a little slide tackle to begin by Anoa Abasi, and Rochester will throw it in on the near sideline.
And you can see the speed of Cristiano Francois on the flanks. That'll be something Ottawa has to be aware of. He's coming back after some eye surgery and already delivering a dangerous one.
Quick turn with the left foot by Francois. He missed a lot of time with that surgery earlier in the season, and you can tell the impact that Francois has had on this team since his return to the formation.
3 assists, hooking up with Groff up top. Bernardo Forbes is going to be another key component. He's got 4 assists on the season, but he's the link from the defense up into the attack. He'll patrol around the midfield circle wearing number 11. Look for him to be a key component tonight for the Rhinos. And
Bernardo Forbes wearing that captain's armband. Usually it's Forbes and Fall who really make this team go, this Rhinos team go. No Fall tonight, so a lot more falls on the shoulders of the captain, Bernardo Forbes. Working the near side, deflected off the sideline, and it'll be a throw-in for Ottawa.
Francois seeing a lot of the action early on. Anoa Obasi, who used to play for the Rochester Rhinos, he loves to attack from the flank. So if he gets caught deep down the field, Francois may have some space to capitalize on.
Big ex-Rhinos presence on this Ottawa team with Abasi and, of course, Dos Santos, who's been as hot as anybody in the league over the last month.
When he played here in Rochester, he scored his goals in bunches. He's doing it once again with Ottawa.
Headed back and forth in the midfield, it's Gerardo Bruna trying to take control into the offensive end for Ottawa. Sent out wide to Jonathan Barden, who scored his first goal last game, a 2-2 draw. In fact, Ottawa is coming off consecutive 2-2 ties in their last 2 contests.
Talk about Francois on the flank for Rochester. Barden, very talented on this near side for the Fury.
A 24-year-old from London, England. Felix playing the left side of the back. They have Sergio Campbell in the middle of the back line. Joe Farrell out to the right. One's headed out of bounds, so another throw in for Ray Lee.
Rochester very patient, very methodical. Bob Lilly likes to keep it tight in the back, but then push some numbers forward on a steady basis throughout the match, and we're seeing that happen right now.
Another throw in, and it'll be Lee again. Inside the box, Boucher, and it's headed near the top of the box. Boucher gets a head on it. Room inside for Francois, the one-timer. Boucher had a wide open, but he lost his balance for a moment, and that hesitation allowing the Fury defense to recuperate.
That unfortunate ricochet, wasn't expecting it. He was wide open. Everybody going to the other side. The deflection finding Boucher wide open. Just couldn't get it to settle.
You saw everybody react. Boucher reacted too. His legs were just going in the opposite direction.
Exactly.
Forbes sends it back near Francois, headed inside the box, and it's controlled by the keeper, Colin Irving. Ottawa's coached by Julian de Guzman, their interim head coach. He was named the 3rd head coach in club history less than a month ago, August 15th. Former Canadian Player of the Year, terrific player for the Canadian national team. Recently retired, and now in the head coach's seat.
Replaces a legend in Paul Dalglish, the former Scottish player who was the coach and the GM. looking for his first win as the leader of the team now.
This is his 6th game. They've got 2 losses and 3 draws since he took over. Came on the staff in January as an assistant coach. And Irving, who's played every minute of the season for Ottawa, in goal. Good takeaway on the near sideline, but a good reaction by the Rhinos.
It was a very good defensive play there, as Ottawa's going to have to deal with the speed of Francois, but you got Ryan James coming in behind him as well. So Obasi's going to need some help on that near sideline to keep those guys in check.
Sent wide to Shane McElhaney, the Northern Islander. And Dan Lind, who seems to be getting more and more time in goal as the season goes on. Earlier in the season, it was primarily Tomas Gomez, the former outstanding keeper out of Georgetown. But Dan Lind, local kid from right down the street here in Rochester, seeing more and more time between the pipes.
Played at a local high school, Penfield High School, and getting a lot of experience with Bob Lilly's defense that he's got so steady and stabilized. A young goalkeeper really benefits from that solid back line in front of you.
Once again, looking for Francois, able to control, but now it's taken away by the Fury defense, and it's Abasi again. Sent to the left side, looking for Tucker Hume, but it's cut off by Sergio Campbell in that center back position. Now Lee sends it up top for Boucher, a 1v1.
Good defending there, challenge in the air, and possession kept for the visitors. Tough touch here.
Ramon Martin Del Campo, the center back for Ottawa. Nice touch there to get it moving for Steven Dos Santos. Barden cuts it back. And Jamar Dixon back to McElhaney. Crossfield look for Obasi. Obasi, good size. Penetrates the Rhino zone near the top of the box. It's Howarth looking for some contact, nothing doing there. The captain for Ottawa.
Howarth wanted contact, but he made the turn the wrong way. He turned back outside when the right move would have been inside. Fire it with the left foot. Rhinos may have caught a break with that decision from Howarth.
Boucher working the center of the field. Forbes, one touch over to the right-hand side. And Joe Farrell. Lee has some room to operate on the left side. And Jalen Brown takes a little shove from McElhaney, gives a little something back. Our referee tonight, Callan Radislav, seems to be letting some things go early on.
It's going to be a physical stretch in these last few games in the Eastern and the Western Conference playoffs on the line. The officials want to let the players settle this on the field and not try to be a factor one way or another.
The Rhinos come into tonight 5th place in the Eastern Conference. They have 41 points. Points-wise, they're in a 3-way tie for 3rd. They drop back to 5th with the tiebreaker, but there is a caveat. They have 2 games in hand against the other 2 teams that they're tied with.
And Louisville will be an opponent in 2 matches coming up for Rochester, so those will be huge swing games.
Louisville and Charlotte tied for 1st place in the Eastern Conference. And you mentioned the Rhinos will have 2 cracks at Louisville City between now and the end of the regular season. Howarth, and a takedown is called against Farrell in the center of the field.
Farrell not afraid to come in hard on the challenge. Hume, a big target man up top for Ottawa. Gets a little message early on from the Rhinos defense that it's going to be, as you mentioned, a very physical contest.
Howarth, a quick free kick, and they're going to bring that one back. Another quick one out to Dixon. And the quick free kick is something that Ottawa has actually employed lately. Gerardo Bruna had a late goal called back on August 19th in a 1-1 draw at Tampa Bay. He scored on the free kick that would have been the game winner, but they called it back because Bruna took the free kick too quickly.
They have had some hard luck. They've created a lot of opportunities. They just cannot get the ball to go into the back of the net. And on the other end, they've given up some tough goals that Julian de Guzman would like to have back.
Because you look at the last 2 games, they have been putting the ball in the back of the net. 2 goals in each of the last 2 games, but 2 draws.
But even to add to that point, 2 goals wasn't enough for Ottawa.
Yep.
They had plenty of chances in that last 2-2 draw.
In fact, the last game they needed a late penalty kick to earn that extra, or to earn that point. Campo sends it back with the head, and now it's over to the right-hand side, and we'll see Francois get to run a little bit with it against Andre Campbell. He cuts back, looking for Forbes in the center of the field. Good first touch by Forbes, weaving inside and out of 3 defenders, but taken away by Howarth. Now Howarth has it deflected away. It's back to Forbes in the center of the field, and they're going to look for Graff at the top of this formation. Graff settles it with the right foot. Nice touch outside for Jalen Brown. Brown inside the box, cuts to the left-hand side. McElhenney, a nice job to poke it away from an attacking Jalen Brown.
You know, in the 11th minute, that's a good brand of soccer we're seeing from both sides. Forbes dribbling, Howarth dribbling, and you can see what the dribble does. It penetrates, it loosens up the defense, leading to a great chance for Jalen Brown. Good to see the individual effort from both sides.
And Jalen Brown, former Big East player from Xavier, coming off his first goal in Sunday's 1-0 win at Toronto, and that came in the 10th minute. So early goals, something Jalen Brown is trying to get after lately.
Here we've got Hume, I think, trying to return the favor to one of the Rhino defenders. This will get a talking to, no card, but just a little verbal warning.
Sergio Campbell slow to his feet, played with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds last year.
From around the league, tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9.
Campbell, former star at UConn, helped lead the Huskies to a Final Four during his college career.
And during that break, Jalen Brown actually came over to the sideline, had a few quick words with Bob Lilly, and that's the one strength that Bob Lilly has. He is coaching, teaching, and it's a constant effect that he has on the team. And obviously his results have shown why he's so successful.
Jalen Brown, very good career at Xavier. 6 goals his senior year for a Musketeers program that continued to improve. Campbell a little blasé along the near sideline. And Francois showing some frustration after the call. And Colin Radoslav has a conversation with him, but like before, Joe, no card, just a conversation.
Francois has only played in a handful of games, and you can see he's still got a ton of energy. And for Obasi and Campbell, they're going to want to be aware of that pace and that energy.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. You can check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. Little run on the right-hand side for Barden, headed back by Campbell. But it will be the first corner kick of the night for Ottawa.
And Barden, very dangerous, coming down the flank. He got the USL fans' choice for goal of the week. Similar setup to that. Cut it inside, cut it back again, and then found the near post. That time a quick distribution. Look, he's probably going to set it up for another quick cutback like we saw last week.
Gerardo Bruna, 26-year-old from Mendoza, Argentina, takes the corner with the left foot, goes short, and right back to Bruna. And now he sets up Howarth, crosses it inside the box, headed down, but right into the hands of Lind. And it was Dos Santos in the area once again with the head.
Santos very strong, whether ball's at his feet or it's in the air. He's kind of withdrawn behind Hume tonight, but got that header down into the turf. No traffic in front for Lind. Make that a routine save for the Rhinos keeper.
One of his 7 goals this season came off his head. He's got goals in 4 straight games.
He is going to be a handful for Ryan Felix and the rest of the Rhinos defense. Steven Dos Santos, technical, fast, the complete package, physical. They're starting to push up as this half goes on.
That's a missed kick and an unforced error there by Sergio Campbell. So Andre Campbell will take the throw-in.
Official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Those are the kind of miscues and giveaways that'll drive a coach nuts, and Bob Lilly wasn't happy to see that giveaway there for his home side.
14 seasons as a head coach in the USL. His second stint as the head coach of the Rhinos led them to the regular season title 2010-2011. This time Campbell goes straight up the middle. No one home except for Colin Irving.
Had some options. Forbes was checking into space, Jalen Brown, but trying to mix it up, get away from the possession a little bit and push the defense back.
Not many opportunities for either side yet. Best opportunity was Buechler, who was off balance when it seemed like he had a shot at point blank range. Abbasi inside. And it's knocked away by Lee.
The first 15, 16 minutes, Abbasi kind of getting a feel for Francois, but as we've moved deeper into this half, he's starting to make those forward runs and look to become part of the offense.
Here's Carl Howarth outside for Dos Santos. Good step up, though, by Lee. Brown controlling in traffic, has it poked away and sent back to Barden. Carl Howarth, the captain for Ottawa, has been very active so far, and he joins the Century Club tonight, his 100th game as a member of the Ottawa Fury.
High pressure from the Rhinos, and it's winning the ball in the Ottawa half of the field.
Good job there by Bruna to step into the open space. And now it's Joe Farrell with some room to operate. Carries it forward on the right-hand side, serves it, but a little too far and out.
Joe Farrell, mainly a center back last season, but now with Felix in the lineup, along with Sergio Campbell, showing some versatility, pushing out to the flank of the defense for Rochester.
They've got a lot of center backs on this team. They also have Todd Pratzner on the bench. He played center back in college at Xavier. And Bob Lilly, for a while, was working the three center backs together on the back line.
Bob Lilly has never seen a defender he didn't like. And I mean that with just positive love and reinforcement, believe me. Defense first, that's the mentality. And it's worked.
Not the mentality for Ottawa this year. They've allowed 35 goals.
Got a lot of transition to deal with. De Guzman coming in for Dalglish. So another adjustment.
Thought that was going to roll out. It stays in. Hume chases after it, so does Felix. And Felix sends it forward with the left foot in the neighborhood of Graf. Forbes trying to take it away from Dixon, cannot. Here's Barden again on the right wing. Barden and McElhaney working together. Barden's going to look to switch fields here. And they send it all the way back to Irving.
The possession early on, probably in favor of Ottawa, but it's been in their own half. Rochester's content to let them sit there, and then they'll step on them and apply some pressure, try to win the ball. But really, as you said, nothing penetrating or too dangerous for either side.
Yeah, that possession hasn't led to any really serious threats yet. Here's Forbes looking left side for Lee. Lee with the left foot, looking for Graf cutting across. Nice first touch, turns and crosses it inside the box. Don't know if Buechler saw that. Brown sees it though. One time settled inside the box. The header is good. Francois from right in front. And the Rhinos get on the scoreboard.
Where do you begin? Graf on this end line with that beautiful move behind his leg. Puts it across. Ottawa lets it bounce in the box. That's always asking for trouble. And then Francois, who's been the setup man for so many goals here this season, he's on the end of it as he gets a great little help from Ryan James, who did a great job to keep it in play as Rochester takes the lead in the 20th minute. But look at James. Look at the effort there. It's almost out of bounds, that little touch. And it's an easy header. You and I can finish that one.
Ooh, great balance by James to keep the ball in bounds and keep on his feet and set up his teammate with a perfect pass there. And boy, Francois, the more and more he gets back into action, the more you can see what he brings to this team.
First goal of the season to go along with a couple of helpers. And he's been energetic, high pace, and he's rewarded for those efforts as there is, it's Dos Santos. Took a knock to the head.
We'll take a look at Dos Santos. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. So, 20th minute, and something for these fans to cheer about early on. Cristiano Francois giving the home team a 1-0 lead.
Out for a huge portion of the season with the eye surgery. Able to come back, and Bob Lilly was always high on what he could bring to the table. He's finally got him healthy, ready to go. And he has been setting players up, and now he's going to have a word with Bob Lilly as he'll come over to the sideline. But a great start for the Rhinos. Great effort on both sides of the net, too.
Francois' first season here with the Rhinos, and early in the season, Bob Lilly was singing his praises, along with Jordan Dover, who we haven't seen for the last couple of games, as the two newcomers who had the biggest impact on the Rhinos so far. And then, of course, as you mentioned, Francois missing a bunch of time. This is only his 6th game of the season, his 5th start, but when he has been in there, he has produced.
It's been incredible what Bob Lilly has done with the lineup. There's 8 players who were not on this team last season who start this game tonight, and he's got Rochester in fine playoff form right now. So hats off to Bob Lilly for just continuing to mold and build these teams year after year.
Again, the standings say they're in 5th place, but after tonight, a win would jump them all the way up to 3rd with games in hand. So the Rhinos get to play with a lead nearly midway through the first half.
They're clearly going to the 3 in the back. Felix, Campbell, and Farrell. As James is pushing up, Lee pushing up as well on both flanks.
Felix and Farrell, 2 players with a ton of experience at center back, and neither of them playing center back tonight.
Joe Farrell's season was tremendous as far as goals were concerned last year. He would push up, corner kicks, head goals. He did plenty for this Rochester side.
2nd on the team in goals last year with 5. 2nd team all USL as a rookie out of LaSalle.
He was a pleasant surprise for this Rochester crowd. Julian de Guzman up and off the bench, trying to put the pieces in the right place.
De Guzman, a 17-year pro career, was named the captain of the Canadian national team in 2013.
Just a tremendous background. Former Canadian Player of the Year, has also played in Spain's La Liga with Deportivo La Coruña. They're in good hands. It's going to take some time, but they're in very, very good hands.
Here's a 1v1 Graf. And a good job by Del Campo to get there first, but Rochester will have a deep throw-in.
It's the pressure that's forcing these quick giveaways and giving Rochester restarts deep in the Ottawa half.
Here's Francois again with the turn. One touch back from Brown out to Forbes. And joining the party is Farrell, pushing up. Left foot inside the box, Francois there, so is Graf. It's sent straight up in the air, and Irving is able to corral it.
Rhino fans will be announcing the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Live Fearless moment of the match after every home match.
Little shove from Howarth into Farrell there. And the assistant linesman, the assistant referee with the flag up. Ross Kleinstuber and Juan Colazo are your assistant referees tonight. David Russo is the 4th official. Again, the referee, Colin Radislav.
Offside position there. The referee did the right thing, wanted to wait to see if he would actually play the ball, be a part of the action. He was. That's why the whistle was a bit delayed there, but that is the right call on the quick restart from Irving.
Graf went up for the header there. Looked like he had his hand on it.
Quick objections there from the Fury. It's clear to see. As Irving, who's, as you mentioned, gone the whole way this year, 35 goals against. Gets this one downfield for the Fury.
Sergio Campbell retreats and gets his head on it. Midfield, it's Boucher. And now Farrell using his large frame to shrug off some defenders. On the right-hand side, Graf has it knocked away. Another throw-in coming for Rochester.
The high pressure is starting to shift this one in favor of the Rhinos. Those first couple minutes, both sides feeling each other out, but since that goal, there's been a bit of a slant towards the Ottawa goal in favor of the Rhinos, who continue to pressure.
Boucher tries to turn against a couple defenders, and it looks like he's going to get a corner out of it. So first one of the night for Rochester.
And how about the options that Bob Lilly has going into the box? 6'5" Felix, Farrell, Campbell, just great options. Ottawa has Hume, Dos Santos, also big defensive players to help out.
And it's sent low, and Farrell can't get a good foot on it. To your point, Wall Fall, a 6'3" option, not available tonight, but that's another one that Bob Lilly usually has at his disposal on corners.
Wallfall has just blossomed into a fantastic player for this Rochester side. He came in, you know, there was big talk. He was Jermaine Jones' cousin, and there was a lot of talk about that. Slowly found his form, and as he's come on here in Rochester, it's gotten better and better. As you can see, 8 goals this season. He takes them from the spot, takes the free kicks. He's delivered in so many different ways.
6 for 6 on penalty kicks as Hauer settles it, brings it towards the middle of the field. Hauer still looking for his first goal of the season for Ottawa. And this one's going to go against the Fury.
And for Howarth, it's going to be difficult to go 1v3. He'll get the ball up top by himself, but he needs the red jerseys to come up and support him. To go against those 3 big physical defenders, it'll be a long night for him all alone.
Still looking for his first goal after scoring 7 of them last season to go along with 4 assists in 2016. So Dan Lynn takes the free kick. Lynn making his 6th start and 6th appearance of the season. Nice touch again to Francois. Settles. Right foot inside the box. Skips through for a moment and a nice clear by Bruna. Hume sends it wide, and Andre Campbell runs onto that. Ottawa controlled a lot of the possession early, but they haven't been able to sustain anything for several minutes. Francois takes it away, finds Forbes immediately. Left side of the box, Boucher. Inside, and a nice slide tackle there by Barden to break it up, but corner number 2 coming up for the Rhinos.
Barden may have saved goal number 2 for Rochester on a beautiful delivery from Canardo Forbes. Now another big battle in the box here on this corner kick.
4th game for the Rhinos for Julian Boucher, signed from the DC United on the 14th of August. Making his 3rd start for Rochester. High near the 6-yard box, and it was right on the goal mouth, but it's whistled dead beforehand.
Little contact in the box.
Graf having a word with our official.
That one sat right on the goal line, but a little too much on the physical side. Good corner kick delivery from Bouchler. And again, it's just those big bodies, one trying to outfight the other.
Good placement there by Bouchler, as you saw. A little dangerous there by Irving. Forbes tosses Bruna aside. And Forbes will be called for the foul here. Nothing more.
A little knock to the lower back, sending Bruna down. Wanted to make sure that the official was well aware of that.
He seemed okay until Forbes took the ball away. And then Bruna hit the ground. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news information by visiting uslsoccer.com. Follow them on Twitter at USL. More contact this time, and Felix with both palms up, and that's usually a sign that you did something.
Yeah, he got him there. That was definitely a foul, and you can feel it right on the thigh as Felix objecting, but Pablo not happy with the call, but I think that is the right call as Howarth was knocked off the pitch. It was a good first touch to avoid the challenge, and Felix just got there a little late.
Howarth's just 5'8", 158 pounds. He's been tossed around quite a bit tonight.
We've got three
big back line,
physical defenders, and again, we talked about him being 1v3 at times. He needs the help to come in and support. He can hold the ball for only so long before he's going to take those knocks.
Potential opportunity here for Ottawa. Andre Campbell now hands the ball to Howarth for the deep throw in for the Fury. 32nd minute of the first half here at Capelli Sport Stadium. Pat O'Keefe, Joe Giuliano, Rhinos, Fury, third and final meeting of the regular season between these two cross-border rivals. And Brown runs on to that, tries to go around to Bossi, cannot though.
A little shift here in tactics. Pablo has shifted Jalen Brown onto the near side and brought Francois over to the far side to try and wreak some havoc on the other side of the field.
We saw a couple minutes ago during a free kick, Lilly called Francois over and had a lengthy conversation with him. Here's Francois. McElhaney keeps it in. And here's Dos Santos working against two defenders, poked away.
Forbes looking to get something out on the flank. Got it to Buchler, then the last touch. Left a bit to be desired. For Dos Santos, the guy we featured at the start, somewhat quiet, but you see strikers throughout the game. 85, 86 minutes, they're quiet, and then boom, one or two are in the back of the net. Dos Santos is that kind of guy.
And Francois lets it go by. Can't get there first, however, Del Campo. And now it's sent back from Lee to Francois. Near the edge of the box, Francois has it poked away. Good defensive play there. And it will be a free kick for Ottawa, as Francois went 1v1 with Dixon and lost that battle.
Great defensive play there from Dixon. You've got the speed, the maneuver of Francois, and Dixon just held his ground. Great bit of defending there from the Ottawa midfielder.
Bit of a risky play though, Joe. If that went a different way, we could be looking at a penalty kick right now.
It's the chance you've got to take though. If you don't come in aggressive, he's in behind and he's looking at his second goal of the game. Jamar Dixon will get a nice pat on the back from the Guzman and the staff for that tackle.
Francois scored his first goal of the season in the 20th minute. And that's where we stand right now, 1-0 Rochester. The Rhinos looking for their third straight win, looking for their fourth win in their last 5 matches. Free kick sent in by Howarth, headed back by Forbes to the near sideline, where Abassi chases it down onto the foot of Campbell.
And Howarth has to do better. He's got his big central defenders all the way down the field, and his delivery doesn't even get into the 18.
McElhaney's staying near the top of this formation right now. Or excuse me, that's Hume. This one skips by, and now it's on the foot of McElhaney. Nearly picked off. Graf working hard as the lone forward tonight for Rochester. Here's another chance for him for a takeaway. More pressure. Brown steps up. Abassi trying to keep control, being pestered by Jalen Brown now.
Ottawa's having all sorts of trouble with this pressure. Several giveaways. And just having some trouble getting out of their own half.
It's spearheaded by Graf, Brown, and Boucher as well. Lynn comes well off his line to scoop that one up just inside the 18.
Good awareness from the Rhinos keeper as he wasn't sleeping on his line, just waiting for his defense to do the job. Quickly there to scoop it up and do away with the harm.
Again, Rochester playing with 3 defenders on that back line, 3 big-bodied defenders, but 3 defenders nonetheless.
It's a pretty unique formation because you can drop James and Brown back in on the flanks and then tuck those 3 guys in the middle. But then when you open up, you've got James and Lee or Brown who can always just be a part of the offense. So it's a great formation.
6 midfielders in Bob Lilly's starting 11 tonight. Here's Forbes, knocked down by Bruna, back on the foot of Forbes. Boucher on the right wing. Taken away by Abassi. He's dangerous when he gets a full head of steam coming out of that back line.
You know, the first time I saw Abassi play, you figured he'd be strong in the air, not so technical. For a big man, he is one of the most technical players I've seen with the ball at his feet. And again, he plays in the indoor league with the Baltimore Blast. That's really sharpened his skills. And when he makes those forward runs, he is very dangerous.
We've seen him dribble his way out of traffic a couple of times tonight. Big collision right near midfield. McElhaney pointing towards Francois. Francois holding onto his left knee, and there's a yellow card, the first one of the night, and it goes against the Northern Irishman, Shane McElhaney.
And you know, Pat, this just comes down to the speed. It's Francois who's able to get that step to the ball first. As we look at the replay here, right at midfield, it's that little poke. And McElhaney's just got to take him down. Francois is through. It's that quick little touch. It's the speed. We've talked about it, and that's what McElhaney's forced to do there.
That's his 4th yellow card of the season. McElhaney, who goes 6'3", 215, outweighs Francois by about 65 pounds. Here's Francois again, another chance on the left-hand side. Dixon trying to chase him down again, and he does. So Jamar Dixon with the perfect slide tackle, and he's 2 for 2 tonight on 1v1s with Francois.
I think Julian de Guzman has found his solution for Cristiano Francois. As you said, 2 for 2. Jamar Dixon, again, his timing is precise on winning those challenges.
Lee's going to come up, take the short corner kick. Sends it inside the box with the left foot. Headed back out towards Forbes. Forbes on the right side. Fakes the entry pass, now cuts it back. Left foot near the top of the box. Graf heads it, but Irving is right there, harmlessly into his hands. And de Guzman's telling him to get it up because Howarth and Lee had a 1v1, and Lee gets there first.
Not a bad idea. Irving has a great punt, and Howarth did have some space. If that was more towards the flank, could have been a scoring opportunity for the Fury. Good idea from the visitors.
2 times tonight we've seen Irving send a punt into the attacking third of the field. Good takeaway by Andre Campbell. Campbell still controlling in the center of the field now, cuts it back. McElhaney working the middle. Left-hand side for Abassi. Everything in the middle of the field, though, for Ottawa. Taken away again by Forbes. Sends it in Francois' neighborhood. Francois' not there, though. Graf is. McElhaney and Graf. Graf sends it back to the top of the box. And McElhaney might pick up a second yellow here. That was a blatant shove with the right hand.
He is on thin ice. He may catch a break here, but you're right, that was blatant. Just no reason for that. Give Graff credit. That ball, you thought it was going to be a giveaway from Forbes. Graff did not quit on it. And then he comes in with a little knock onto the ankle.
I think a little leeway may have been given by Colin Radoslav when he saw that it was McElhinney, who already has 1 yellow tonight.
One more incident, it could be his jersey color.
He gave the that's enough sign after that. So another free kick opportunity here for Rochester, which has controlled the action here in the first half. Sent near the top of the 6 box. Irving gets 2 fists on it. Francois trying to keep it inside the zone. Now it's sent back in by Ryan James. Center of the box. Settled by Boucher. Boucher turns towards his right. Finds Farrell. A little too much air under that one, though.
Not bad. The big central defender trying to swerve that one up and around the keeper. Ottawa's done a good job of winning that first ball on free kicks or corner kicks coming into the box, but the quality of the clearance not going out wide enough or far enough, leading Rochester to continue attacking.
And fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XM-FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM-FC will air the game of the week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Abassi right at midfield. And now Del Campo carrying forward. Trying to shug off the pesky Jochen Graff. Here's Bruna with some rare space with which to operate. Campbell on the left-hand side had a good look, but it closed quickly. And a good job by the Rochester defense. That may have been the best opportunity all night for Ottawa.
Great build-up. It always comes off the dribble, forcing defenders to move into spaces maybe they're not too comfortable with, and it was a good work coming right down the gut from Bruna.
We saw Francois Joe a second ago. He took the shot to the knee a couple minutes ago. Seemed to be okay carrying the ball.
He's been out for a long time this season. He's not going to come off very easy.
And it was an eye injury, so you know his legs are fresh. His legs are healthy, as we've seen tonight.
Absolutely.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Final couple minutes of the half, very crucial time. Ottawa's going to take their time and maybe try to just get to the dressing room. Trailing by 1, Rochester wants to push for more.
Trailing by 1, Rochester probably had the second and third best opportunities of this half as well. Here's Boucher on the right side. Brown's going to try to run onto that one. Can't get there, though. And it will be a goal kick for the Fury.
You can see the danger that Bruna creates with his dribble. They want to get Steven Dos Santos more involved. And he's in a good spot just behind Hume, because once he gets that momentum going on the dribble, he's physically hard to knock off the ball. They just haven't found him enough to put him into that offense.
Again, the strong right foot of Colin Irving. Nice flick of the head by Tucker Hume. Andre Campbell, a full head of steam, but it's sent back by Sergio Campbell. Hume using his size to get his head on a couple here. Here's Barden, who's been quiet after a good start to the night. Abassi settles. Again, controlling. It's fun to see a big man able to do that.
Very entertaining to watch. Confidence with the ball. Fan favorite wherever he plays.
Farrell sends it back. Boucher got a foot on it. And now once again, it's been the man of the night so far, Cristiano Francois. Boucher fighting for that loose ball, picked up by Bruna. Hume, one touch, Dos Santos.
The clock will stop at the 45-minute mark. Stoppage time will be kept on the field.
And some shoving at midfield.
Bossy, little rake across the forehead on Jalen Brown.
Turning over to McElhaney. There's a takeaway by Boucher. Onto the foot of Graff, left side, Francois. Sizing up his options. Now Boucher gets to handle against Dixon, who's been a very strong defender tonight. Far side of the box. James heads it back. Forbes, one-timer. Got too much of that, though. We are in stoppage time. David Russo, our fourth official, showing 2 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half.
It's a great setup from Ryan James. Headed it back to the top of the 18. Canardo Forbes, who can unleash a rocket. That time just got underneath it. Unable to put it on frame.
Hume and Farrell had a fistful of Tucker Hume's jersey. That's one of the easier ones to call.
And these are tough to give up. Late in the half, in the run of play, Ottawa hasn't created too many opportunities, but now push some bodies forward, try the restart and see what happens.
Ramon Martin Del Campo standing over it for now. Andre Campbell next to him as well. Actually, that's Gerardo Bruno with the left foot sending it inside the box. Lind out of his reach, but out of bounds as well. And like you said, very dangerous. Good ball sent inside the box by Gerardo Bruno.
Those are opportunities you never want to give away, especially against a team who has struggled in the run of play. An opportunity like this, it's Dos Santos. Someone's got to be there. That's an easy tap in. Great service from Dos Santos. Nobody there knocking on the door.
Lind very content to take his time on the goal kick. Rochester would love to go into the dressing room with a 1-0 lead. Here's Dos Santos. Haven't called his name much tonight. And the referee blew the whistle, signaling offsides.
He did. He felt, they wear an armband that vibrates. He felt the vibration of it. He thought the referee's assistant on the near side had pushed the button to get his attention, but that is not the case.
No.
And Graff and the Rhino fans not happy with that.
He's trying to explain himself to Graff, but that doesn't really do anything to Joachim Graff right now. It's a drop ball, and Graff will just send it back.
That's a first. I've got to be honest, I've never seen that.
Well, now it could get real interesting. Howarth inside the box. Farrell gets a foot on it. Sergio Campbell clears. And yeah, Colin Radislav's going to blow the half dead because he knows he made a mistake and he doesn't want to cost Rochester a goal here.
Enough is enough.
Yes. Let's regroup. Strong first half, though, for
Absolutely.
Rochester.
And Ottawa coming on now in this last few minutes, so it should be a great second half.
20th minute, Cristiano Francois with his first goal of the season. An assist from Ryan James, the first half that saw some physical play. 1 yellow card for Shane McElhaney. But Rochester looking for its third straight win as a 1-0 lead. We're halfway through here tonight at Capelli Sport Stadium.
Nice job.
To Capelli Sport Stadium in Rochester, where the Rhinos have a 1-0 lead over the Ottawa Fury at halftime. A 20th minute goal off the foot of Cristiano Francois, his first of the season for Francois, and Rochester has that 1-0 lead, looking for their third straight victory. Now next week, next Saturday, on this field, the Rochester Rhinos organization will be hosting a special walk for an important cause. Earlier this evening, I spoke with Rhinos co-owner Wendy Dworkin about the event. And Wendy, next Saturday, the Crohn's and Colitis Charity Walk right here on your field. Tell us about the event that you're hosting.
Looking forward to it. Next Saturday, September 16th. The registration begins at 10 a.m., walk at 11. It's a 1-mile walk, so very easy inside and outside the stadium.
And for a great cause, a lot of family fun. In addition to the walk, what else can participants expect?
Well, besides the walk, there'll be a DJ, bounce house, the concessions will be open so you can have a great time and help support those suffering from ulcerative colitis and Crohn's.
It is a great cause. It's an important cause. How did the Rhinos team up with this event?
It's actually affected members of my family, so when we had the opportunity to do something to help the organization, we were glad to do so. It actually affects 1 in every 200 Americans, and the fastest growing demographic affected is actually under 18. So this will help support research efforts and actually camps and supportive services for those suffering from the disease.
And those coming out, those participating, they'll have a chance to walk right here on the pitch, right?
Walk right here on the pitch for a mile, which actually around the stadium itself is not quite a mile, so we'll continue the walk outside the stadium.
All right, great opportunity for a great cause. Thank you. Good luck, and we'll be back with more from Rochester after this.
For help with dachshund breeding.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
What's been unusual is that we gelled from the beginning, and since then it's carried on throughout the season. It carried on through preseason, and then now we're continuing. Now we're getting towards the end of the season.
Yeah, when the group got together down in preseason and we were training with the first team, we were kind of just looking around like, yeah, we got a good squad, you know. Like when we get back and it's just the Monarchs, we have a team that could do something really special. And so having that time together in preseason and pushing ourselves against RSL and against the first team guys was a great experience and opportunity, and kind of gave us some bonding heading into our season, and we knew we had a special group.
You can't just look at it as a slice, right? Because the investment is the club as a whole in building integration at every level. If you're going to think that way, you have to build the facilities, you have to invest in the team, you have to do everything that you need to do to make sure that at every level you're driving success, and I think that's what we've done.
I think there's a standard throughout the whole organisation now, from top to bottom. I think with the new facility, that's only going to increase the level, only going to increase the standard and the quality of everything within the club.
Purpose built for USL, It'll be a fun game experience. It'll be a nice place for them to have a home field, and it'll be right at the training facility, which will be great.
This is the next step, obviously, with the academy being there, and the Monarchs will be there, the first team will be training there.
But this is unlike anything else in the USL, and I think it's going to be a big game changer for us.
And so now to have a home place that's not going to be as big, but it's going to be just as full, it's going to be incredible for the team.
But for the Monarchs, it'll be great because we're getting on average 3,000 fans or so, and I think it'll be even more next year as the Monarchs continue to improve and kind of set the standard in the USL.
The players' goals have evolved as the season has, and their expectations have got greater. And I think they now understand that until we have a USL championship, they haven't aspired or they haven't reached the goal that we ultimately want.
And welcome back to Capelli Sport Stadium here in Rochester, where we are at halftime, and the Rhinos have a 1-0 lead over the Ottawa Fury, looking for their second win over Ottawa this season in 3 tries. Dozens and dozens of local youth soccer players in the stadium tonight. A big night for youth soccer here in Rochester. The Rochester District Youth Soccer League handing out its first Team Sportsmanship Awards. RDYSL President George Hebert spoke with me about the new initiative. George, big night for your organization, the Team Sportsmanship Award presentation. Tell us about the award.
Yeah, I'm happy to. The Team Sportsmanship Award came at the suggestion of the Rhinos this year. A couple of their staff came from other areas, and they've successfully initiated this program. What it is we have 75 divisions of teams that play over the course of the summer, and each team gets to vote for the most sportsmanlike team in their division. The team that got the most votes ended up being the Team Sportsmanship Award winner. And we exchanged this actually for a Champions Night because we're always looking for ways to encourage the kids, the parents, the coaches, the spectators to do what youth sports is all about, and that's not necessarily winning.
Rochester's such a great soccer community. It always has been for decades. Tell us about your league, how many participants you have, and who's involved.
Yeah, Rochester District Youth Soccer League has 37 member clubs. We have about 530 teams. We have 8,500 kids and a couple thousand adult volunteers that allow us to pull off about 3,500 games every summer.
Wins and losses are great, championships are great, but honoring kids for sportsmanship, maybe not something we see enough of today. What's been the feedback that you've gotten on this award?
Well, they're very excited about it. Most things take a while to build, and this is our first year. But we've got about 60% of our teams showing up tonight that won these awards, which is about double what we would normally have expected. The league has sought for years to find ways to positively influence the behavior of the participants, and we've been fairly successful. This just is another, stone or another building block that's helping us be one of the best and least controversial places in the country. There's 55 state associations. Our local one has 6 districts like us, and we have the least problems of any of the districts despite having the most teams and players.
Good luck with the award going forward, and it's a great night.
It certainly is, and go Rhinos.
Go Rhinos. All right, halftime in Rochester. Back with more after this. And we are back live at Capelli Sport Stadium. Pat O'Keefe, Joe Giuliano, halftime here in Rochester. And the Rhinos have a 1-0 lead over the Ottawa Fury on a goal by Cristiano Francois, who got the Rhinos off and running here this evening, looking for their third straight victory. Francois was active early, and he was the one who put the only goal in the back of the net so far for Rochester.
You know, it's a nice change for Francois. He's got 3 assists on the season. He's been distributing the ball so well. It's good to see him get credit for a goal in the 20th minute. But it's James, it was Graff, who really helped out on both sides of the net with quality balls into the box.
Rochester had been threatening early on, and they were finally able to put one in the back of the net, and Francois was knocking on the door a lot early here.
He has been a terror to deal with. His speed, his pace this evening has given some very difficult times for the Ottawa Fury, who actually started to come on in the late parts of this first half.
Probably the first 40 minutes controlled by Rochester, but Ottawa did put on a little bit of pressure and had a couple good chances the last 5 minutes of that first half.
The run of play has been a challenge for the Fury, but the set pieces leading to a great opportunity with Dos Santos sending one across the goal mouth. So it could be an interesting second half.
Dos Santos has come into this match with a goal in 4 straight games. The former Rhino, so far, Rochester has kept him in check.
Dos Santos, again, he's one of those streaky forwards, scores goals in bunches. If he finds his rhythm, look for him to have a solid 45 minutes.
So we're getting set for the start of the second half. Ottawa 7-9-9, 30 points on the season. The Fury 12th place in the Eastern Conference. When you look at the playoff scenario, they are 5 points behind 8th place Cincinnati, and Ottawa does have 1 game in hand, but still a bunch of teams in front of Ottawa between 12th and 8th place. You have Bethlehem and you have Pittsburgh, both 4 points ahead of them. St. Louis is 1 point ahead of them. Meanwhile, Rochester technically in 5th place, but again, a win tonight jumps them into 3rd. They're in a 3-way tie for 3rd points-wise, and Rochester has those 2 games in hand on both Charleston and Tampa Bay. So if they keep winning, they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, that would be a feat by Bob Lilly on this side. It would guarantee at least 1 home playoff match, and Rochester at home, 7-2-3, the best defensive record in the Eastern Conference with 22 goals against.
On the flip side, while Rochester's 7-2-3 at home, Ottawa 2-7-3 on the road, and we are underway here in the second half. Rochester controlled the first half, but Ottawa went into the locker room with a little bit of momentum. They had a great chance in stoppage time off of a free kick that went just out of the reach of Dan Lynn, the goalie, and just beyond the goalpost. So we'll see if Rochester can straighten some things up from those last 5 minutes of the first half.
You hear it so many times, first 5, last 5 in soccer are crucial. Although it wasn't a goal for the Fury, it's a bit of confidence.
McElhaney working that right side, and an offsides called against Jonathan Barden.
And Barden loves to take defenders on, coming in, cutting inside from the flank. He hasn't seen a lot of the ball tonight to use that crafty and that weaving dribbling. And we'll see if he becomes a factor here in this second half.
Barden, who plays on the right flank, a high-energy guy, a box-to-box runner, scored his first career goal on Sunday in Ottawa's 2-2 draw against St. Louis FC. That was at TD Place, the home field of the Ottawa Fury.
And he's tough to defend on the right side. He's a left-footed player, so it's that cut inside to his power foot that really creates some danger.
Second half begins like the first half did, with Cristiano Francois in the middle of the action. That time, though, he's knocked down with no call. So Andre Campbell sends it ahead to the big target of Tucker Hume. Back sent by Sergio Campbell. So the Campbells on either side exchanging kicks, and it looked like Andre Campbell caught a little elbow from Jalen Brown, and the foul goes against Rochester.
Campbell looked to go up to win the header. Brown never went up. Thus the foul called against the Rhinos midfielder.
And we saw those highlights in the first half. Brown was in the middle of the goal-scoring play as well. James gets the assist. He set up Francois. It was started by Graff, but Brown was in the middle of that play as well. A total team effort on the 1 goal so far tonight for Rochester.
No chances taken there by the central defender.
Just underway here in the second half. 6 games remain tonight, after tonight, for Ottawa. 7 games left in the season after tonight for Rochester. 2 of them are against Louisville City. They'll play a home and home. And Rochester also has 2 games coming up at Pittsburgh. Bruna near the top of the box. It's sent back for Obasi.
It's a bit of a role reversal in the USL. Rochester, the powerhouse for so many years. Now it's Louisville, who Rochester is chasing. So they've kind of flipped spots as the top dog in the league, or the conference at least. Interesting to see how things have transitioned.
Rhinos are 6 points behind Louisville entering tonight's action. Rochester does have 1 game in hand, and again, they will see each other 2 more times. So if Rochester keeps winning, their destiny's close to being in their own hands.
Had a chance to speak with Wall Fall during the break, and that's exactly what he said. We need to keep winning, keep playing solid soccer, and move forward as far as up the table is concerned.
And Wallfall again, not seeing him tonight, the leading scorer for Rochester, suspended for tonight because of a accumulation of yellow cards. He received a yellow in the 92nd minute at Toronto on Sunday. So in stoppage time, that had to be extra frustrating, and that's what kept him out of tonight's game.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. He's actually watching the game just to our left here with some of the Rhino players who are not dressed for this match. And it's a big loss. 8 goals, but he does so many other things. Solid defending, and also he's tenacious on the tackle. So you lose so many key components.
23 games played for the Rhinos, but his absence creating an opportunity tonight that Cristiano Francois certainly is taking advantage of. Inside the box, just out of reach, but here comes Forbes. What a diving save by Irving in the corner of the net.
That was entertaining.
Start to finish, starting with Francois, great shot by Forbes, and a better save by Colin Irving.
And the leave there by Graff, he's got eyes in the back of his head, and Forbes is wide open, and he can just unleash one of those powerful shots and give Irving credit. He's diving through traffic, finally spots that ball, keeps it out of the net.
Great shot by Forbes. As we saw that again, it was on target. Near the top of the box, again sent in, the other side, and just over the crossbar. So a couple of good rips here to begin the second half for Rochester.
Good pressure. It was Jalen Brown, who's playing on the opposite side, who came over in a support position off the corner kick. And he had some time to settle and look in. That wasn't too far off the mark.
We'll have our first substitute of the game. It's on the back line for Ottawa, Kyle Venter, replacing Shane McElhaney.
This is a good move. McElhaney's in the book already. He's on thin ice, had a warning after picking up the yellow card, and de Guzman needs to get his team back into the game. And the last thing the Fury need are to play a man down.
McElhaney's an important player for Ottawa on that back line, making his 21st start of the season tonight. You don't need to lose him for the next game if you were to pick up another yellow. He almost picked up that second yellow in the first half.
So good move by de Guzman, realizing that he's on thin ice. Wants to play at full strength as long as he can.
Farrell with the chest. Gets another crack at it, line drive. And Graff and Boucher. Boucher on the right-hand side, trying to size up Abassi, who recovers to pick him up. Now Brown, edging towards the corner of the box, just out of the reach of Forbes. Other direction comes Gerardo Bruna. Little stop and start. Back to Abassi. Now they switch fields. Here's Jamar Dixon, who made a couple of potential goal-saving tackles in the first half. Nice touch ahead for Hume. 1v1 with Campbell. Cuts it back. Cuts it back again towards the goal line. Hume trying to cross, does, but Lind is there to make the save.
Taking advantage of the slip by the Rhinos defender, Hume. Good ball into the box, and you can just see the extended arms of Lind denying any opportunity.
Lind 6'4", 194 pounds, former starter at Pitt, where he started for the Panthers for 3 seasons. And he's come home to play for his hometown team, a member of the Rochester Junior Rhinos for the under-9s. How good is that, that he's an actual Rhino now?
One of the premier clubs in this area. They've done a great job developing several players who have actually turned professional, whether it's the indoor game or the outdoor game. Premier club.
Terrific soccer community here in Rochester, New York, and we saw the parade of youngsters on the field at halftime, members of the RDYSL, the team's sportsmanship being awarded tonight.
Barden
Dixon
wanted a call there, but again, he pushed the ball a little too far in front of him, losing any chance to keep possession. That's why the referee said, let's play on.
Ottawa will have a throw-in. Kyle Venter sends it across. Venter, the first sub into the match tonight for either team. And a bad touch there right onto the foot of Jalen Brown. Trying to capitalize, sends it ahead for Graff. Graff against Venter, turns the corner. Graff with the left foot, right into the hands of Colin Irving.
Well, a situation like that, he's 1 against 3. He does a great job to fight off the physical challenge. It's a tough angle, but he's got no other choice. Good work from Graff.
Got a good foot on the ball as well. Irving just had the angle cut off. Here's a good ball sent ahead to Dos Santos. And Campbell's got to clear it for a throw-in. Now Dos Santos is slow to get up.
Over the years, we've seen Dos Santos take so many knocks. He's been bandaged up on the wrist, and he's just such a physical player, not afraid to go in against the challenge. And he gets up, but he does take his fair share of knocks.
Steven Dos Santos, he's been around the world, played internationally, Cape Verde, Norway, Angola, now Ottawa, of course, Rochester. He has been around the map. Good turn by Andre Campbell to stay on his feet, and they're going to get a free kick out of his effort.
Excellent effort, and you get the feeling that Andre Campbell is starting to put his mark on the game. Stepping in, taking players on, seeing a little more of the ball. We'll keep an eye on him as this second half rolls on.
Bruna's been dangerous with his free kicks tonight. We saw one almost lead to a goal at the very end of the first half. A host of Fury players lined up on the the near side of the field at the top of the box. Bruna curves it low near the top. Good touchback by Abassi, but right onto the foot of Forbes.
Good swerving ball from Bruna, and Obasi again not afraid to go with the cheeky, flashy touches.
And Abassi gets tangled up with Forbes that time. Hume tries to control, and a takedown of Jalen Brown and a Rochester kick.
A little chippy here at times, preventing the flow of play.
And Sergio Campbell will take the free kick. Campbell just making his 6th start of the season, a newcomer to the team. Bob Lilly said earlier this season it took Campbell, who won't take the free kick, but it did take him a while to kind of get used to what the Rhinos do here. As you mentioned, Lilly, a heavy emphasis on defense with this program.
Defense first, it's always solid, well organized in the back, and for the young players just breaking into the pro ranks, this is the perfect environment to come into. Well, you'll learn so much, so many different systems of play from Bob Lilly, and they benefit. A lot of them do move on to other teams and other opportunities, but to start off, this is a great point.
Battle for the ball on the near sideline. It's the back of our referee, Kalen Radislav. Here's Ryan James on the far side. Sent back, Forbes in the center of the field, switches direction now and gets it over to Lee. Lee carrying with some space, looking for Graff, but it's scooped up by Irving.
A little too quick on the delivery. Graff didn't have enough time to get into that space. There was a bit of a gap behind the Ottawa defense. Just a little too quick on that ball into space.
And this is something we saw Rochester employ a lot in the first half, and it was effective. The pressure, Ottawa, again, trouble getting out of its defensive zone.
Why change a good thing if you're the Rhinos? Continue to press like you just did here and you win the ball again.
Here's Francois. Sometimes it looks like he's just running in a different gear out there on the field. But Dos Santos takes it away, sends it ahead to his equally large target, Tucker Hume, who can't get there first. Campbell sends it off to the side, but here comes Ottawa with a chance in the attacking third of the field.
The Rhinos have done a good job of preventing Dos Santos from receiving the ball 35, 40 yards away from goal and then running at pace against the defenders. He has not had those opportunities as of yet. Hats off to the Rhinos defense.
Another giveaway. We've seen a few of those tonight, right onto the foot of Jalen Brown. Here comes Graff. On the left-hand side has Francois. 1v1 with Venter. Francois goes around him. Cross in the middle of the box. And it's headed over the crossbar by Jaylen Brown. So the play was started by Brown and finished by Brown, just not finished into the back of the net.
And you can see when Francois gets the ball, they're giving him space. They know he's dangerous. And that Venter that time didn't come in very aggressive. And Francois serves a great ball into Brown, who kind of overran the play, didn't come in to meet the ball with any pace. As it was a great bit of work on the near side from Francois. I think Brown, if he holds his run just a little bit, his time will be perfect to put that on frame.
An 11-3 advantage in shots tonight for Rochester. And that one goal off the head of Francois, his first of the season. Came relatively early in the 20th minute. Here he is again, looking for more. Has Venter on the retreat, now sends it back for Forbes. Room again to let it fire low again. And it's knocked out of bounds for a goal kick. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com. Follow them on Twitter at USL.
The Rhinos are finding all sorts of different options to attack. Francois on the flank, Graf right down the middle, but then just withdrawn is Canardo Forbes. He's starting to see some of the action now, so Ottawa's got a lot to deal with coming at them.
Brown took a shot in the eye trying to defend against Abassi there. Once again, it's Graf applying pressure to Colin Irving, who's got to hurry it out of the box. Bruna in the center of the field, a little room to operate. His strong left foot up the left sideline, but headed back by James. Abassi taken away by Boucher and back to Abassi. Abassi takes the quick throw, and now he's going to hold it up and finds Dos Santos. Not a lot of room to operate here for Abassi. Graf is pestering him, so is Brown. Boucher takes it away, and now it's Graf up the right sideline against Del Campo. Graf fakes the cross, still with the dribble, cuts it back right on the out-of-bounds line, and Abassi takes it away. Ahead for Hume, but Farrell gets there first with his head. Headed a second time by Forbes. Brown has it poked away on the far sideline by Dos Santos.
Those long balls just pumped forward by the Ottawa defense to one striker against 3 or 4 defenders. That falls right into the Rhinos' game plan. There's just no opportunity to possess, to turn, and Rochester just continues to push the ball back into the Ottawa half.
A lot of back and forth action in the middle of the field here in the second half. Cross from the near side. Del Campo gets there first. Forbes wide open in the center. Now it's James cutting down the right-hand side. Andre Campbell closes out on him. James sends it near the 6-yard box. It's headed backwards. Cristiano Francois again has his first attempt knocked down by Barden. Graf near the top of the 18. Back to Francois. Cross field to James. It was James to Francois for the first goal. Now James sends it near the top of the box. James left foot one time, and Irving hauls it in. And there wasn't offsides on the play.
Good possession, very patient. Nothing hurried there by the Rochester Rhinos. Looked for openings, players finding space. Knocking on the door.
With a 1-0 lead, you'd be happy with possessions like that the rest of the night.
Especially when it's in Ottawa's half of the field. Possession in your own half could be a little risky, but they're pushing it deep down the field.
Dos Santos gets his head on it first. Farrell sends it back. Make it 3 in a row. A good touch by Graf. And now Jaylen Brown will apply some pressure. Here's Ray Lee trying to get up there. Knocked off by Barden. Bruna in the center of the field. Boucher comes behind him and is tossed to the ground by Bruna. That's
just frustration. Bruna And he'll definitely see a card here.
He'll see one now. I don't think he was going to see one on the contact, but he sees one now.
Central midfielder, the number 10 player. He's just not seeing a lot of space and time, and that's just frustration. That results in a yellow card for Bruna.
He made that one easy for Kalen Radislav. If you blow the whistle at him twice and ask him to put the ball down and you don't, that's something.
And there's a look at it. Bruna is receiving the ball middle of the park, but every time he does, there's bodies all around him. And Bushel that time coming in to do the work.
Third yellow card of the season for Gerardo Bruna. And it'll be a corner kick off of that free kick. So it looked like Ottawa's defense let up a little bit. And an opportunity forthcoming for the Rhinos. This will be their 5th corner of the night.
Rhinos corner kick, brought to you by UR Medicine Sports Medicine.
Outswinging service coming up here from Bushler. Big targets in the box.
Boucher with the right foot. Headed backwards near the top of the 18, and a push in the back called against Rochester. Second sub of the night sent on by Julian de Guzman. Adonijah Reed will be coming on momentarily. And when Reed enters, a lot of youth on this Ottawa team. He's the youngest, 18 years old. Here's Dos Santos. Farrell, maybe some contact in the back. And now a chance for Ottawa. Farrell got away with the first one, not the second.
Yeah, Dos Santos, now he's pushing up a little higher. With Reed coming in, it'll be interesting to see if there's any tactical adjustments from de Guzman, maybe bringing up a little more offensive support for Hume, or pushing Dos Santos higher and having Reed tuck in behind them. Howarth has had a tough night. He hasn't had a lot of support up top, as he does not look too happy walking off the pitch, but it's been a frustrating night for the record-breaking Howarth.
A frustrating night. As you mentioned, a record-breaking night. Howarth's 100th career appearance for the Ottawa Fury. And it is now over. And just off the bench, Adonijah Reed sent in by Bruna. Good position by Lee. And too much contact behind him by Kyle Venter.
Venter a little unhappy here because there was a little bit of a jersey tug, but it was after the foul was called. And that's where his point of contention is with the officials.
So a goal kick for the Rhinos. And Bob Lilly goes to his reserves for the first time tonight, spending in the speedster Darius Madison. And a terrific effort tonight for Johan Graf. A little wave and acknowledgement to the crowd. Graf was in the middle of a lot of action tonight, a well-deserved rest for the final 25 minutes of this one.
It was nonstop effort for him, and now he did the banging and the physical work against the Ottawa defense. They could be a little tired. Now they've got to deal with the speed of Madison against some heavy legs. We'll see if that becomes a factor here.
Darius Madison, his 16th appearance of the season, former outstanding college player, national champion for the University of Virginia.
Very high hopes when the Rhinos brought him in, and Bob Lilly gives him the opportunity here. 3 goals, 1 assist on the season for Madison.
And right off the bat, he draws a foul. So Madison, maybe the first signs of fall, playing with gloves on.
Please.
Here's Francois with a good look. It's deflected. Still with it is Boucher. Working against Dixon. Boucher takes it to the near corner. Now across field at the top of the box for Brown. Heads it backwards. Forbes trying to get there first and does. Forbes controls. In traffic, Forbes still with it. And it is sent back by Del Campo. Hume against 3 Rhinos. And Sergio Campbell in a sprint to get to that one ahead of Dos Santos. All he can do in a good play, sent off to the side.
And Dos Santos definitely pushing up higher now in the 68th minute. If he gets a ball in his space, he's got those long strides. Campbell's going to have to be aware of that speed, trying to break in behind him.
Here's Abassi being pestered by the fresh-legged Madison. The 18-year-old Adonijah Reed has it taken away by Boucher. Brown on the right wing. A little give and go with Madison. Francois in the center of the field, and he's going to bounce it to the near side. Kyle Venter, who came on here in the second half, replacing Shane McElhaney. Good ball ahead. Can Andre Campbell get there? He can. On the left side, it's Campbell, crosses with the left foot. There's a man, it's Dos Santos again. Lynn with the save. Dos Santos crosses it. James still has to clear it, and does. What a save by Lynn. Dos Santos almost had a goal in his 5th straight game.
Lynn saved the day on a beautiful buildup from Ottawa, and the sniper, Dos Santos, was robbed.
Something that hasn't happened to him a lot lately. Dos Santos has to get back on side, has it on his foot. No call there. Still near the top of the box, dangerous, and Farrell nearly got his hand on that ball. Here's Campbell on the left-hand side. Just on the edge of the box, Campbell is taken down by James, and we could have a penalty here.
Wow, this is a huge call and a great opportunity for the Fury. The Rhinos defense, they were on their heels. Ottawa was applying some pressure. Rochester looked a little uncomfortable, and the referee points to the spot, and it's going to be, looks like Dos Santos gearing up to take it, but we talked about the challenge that Ottawa brings. Here's a look at that last one. Good swerving ball. Dos Santos, like a freight train, steaming in, gets a good hard shot away, and a great save from Lynn. Tough angle on the rebound. That's up and over onto the far side.
Andre Campbell still slow to get up, so at this point, the penalty has been sold. It's going to be a penalty kick by Steven Dos Santos. They're still attending to Campbell, Andre Campbell, on the edge of the box. Now, Dos Santos last game, with 2 minutes left, Ottawa trailed 2-1. A penalty was drawn, and Dos Santos stepped up and knocked in the penalty kick to earn a point for Ottawa in a 2-2 draw. A similar situation, not 2 minutes left, but again, late in the second half, and a chance for Dos Santos to tie it on a PK.
We talked about Campbell about 5 minutes into this second half becoming a factor. He was getting more involved, and this time his one-on-one challenge against James leads to the PK.
Goals in 4 straight games for Steven Dos Santos. Dan Lind is the goalie. Dos Santos sizes it up, make it 5 in a row with a goal for Dos Santos, and we are tied at 1 in the 71st minute. Steven Dos Santos on the penalty kick, the former Rochester Rhino, his 8th goal of the season. The crowd here at Capelli Sport Stadium not happy about the call that led to that penalty kick.
It was a close call, no doubt about it, but the referee thought it was in the box, made the call. Dos Santos, we've seen it so many times over the years, calm, cool, waits for the keeper to make his decision and just slots it to the opposite side, calm and cool. And as you mentioned, that goal-scoring streak continues.
5 games in a row. That is a serious goal-scoring streak now. He is on some kind of roll. The last 2 games via the penalty kick. So just like that, we're knotted at 1. And here's Dos Santos again, trying to get behind Felix. Felix has to send it back to Lind. And now all of a sudden it's Rochester on its heels.
Those are the runs that Dos Santos will provide and create a lot of danger.
Bruna weaving his way through traffic. Slide tackles coming from left and right, and a foul is called. Farrell not agreeing with it. And Bruna, who drew the foul once he gets to his feet, most likely will be the one to take this free kick.
There was contact there. I think the home side saying he got the ball first, then the man. Actually, that's still going to be a foul. Nonetheless, Farrell, a good tackle, just got a piece of the man after putting his foot on the ball. And another dangerous restart for Bruna and the Fury.
Adonijah Reed stands to Bruna's left. Bruna sends it right near the 6-yard box, knocked out of the hands of Lind, but a foul is called inside the box against Ottawa, and now there's disagreement from their side and Ramon Martin Del Campo.
Lind was definitely maybe just a little nudge, knocked him off balance, which led to the call made, but a dangerous swerving ball away from the keeper. Very difficult for the defense to deal with, and Rochester's defense, uncharacteristically, having some trouble here keeping organized.
Headed back by Del Campo initially. Here's Forbes trying to get there in the center of the field. Little shoving between Forbes and Bruna. Now it's Reed. Bruna, center of the field. Knocked away. Campbell inside the box, left foot, knocks it in, but no. An offside's called on the near side by the assistant referee, so take that goal away.
Pat, this one's going to be close. This one's going to be close. Tough to tell if he timed his run well enough. Referee's assistant feels that he didn't, as it was very, very close. It was Bruna's run again. The first poke, he couldn't get it through. The second one, Rochester may have caught a huge break there. That looked pretty good to me, but again, tough angle from here.
Joe, one thing is for sure, Andre Campbell has been in the middle of everything in the second half for Ottawa.
You could sense his momentum, his rhythm. He was getting confident as the second half began, and it's continued here. De Guzman very happy to see that.
Here's Francois. Quiet lately, strong game though. As nighttime settles in here in Rochester, lights taking full effect at Capelli Sport Stadium. Abbasi trying to find Reed to get it out of the zone. Reed and Madison, the two reserves, battling for that one. And Abbasi able to elude Boucher, trying to get around Jalen Brown, and does. Now Bruna switches fields far side, it's Barden, and Ray Lee has to catch up with him. Barden cuts it towards the inside now. Francois attacks from behind. Farrell from straight on. Farrell comes up with it. Wisely lets Francois take control of the ball.
And look who's defending. It's Dos Santos all the way back. That's whatever it takes.
Couple of times I've confused Dos Santos and Abbasi. Similar size, similar hairstyle. Here's Madison, gets a foot on it at the top of the box. But that's how often Dos Santos has been on the back line tonight.
He has been busy helping out on both ends. Defensively, finishing the PK. Looks like he's cramping up now. Down on the turf. He's been busy tonight.
Bernardo Forbes, the captain for Rochester. Over to Jalen Brown, who has had a strong night. So is this man, Julian Boucher, who's been a nice addition to this Rhino side. The last 4 games, this is his 3rd straight start.
Whenever you can pick up someone with MLS experience, a league that has just grown incredibly, and have them put their mark on your club in the 2nd division, that is a huge boost.
Made 2 starts for the DC United this season. Boucher amidst 3 defenders, trying to draw a whistle there and cannot. So it's Abbasi on the attack. Adonijah Reed trying to get behind the defense. James slides to get his foot on it. Reed picks it up, taken away by Ryan James. James cuts to the outside, looking up top for Darius Madison, but it's headed out of bounds by Del Campo. It'll be a throw-in for Rochester. And the final substitution of the night, being sent on by Julian de Guzman, it's Cito Sione, replacing Steven Dos Santos, who we saw cramp up a moment ago. So de Guzman wanting to get fresh legs on the field for the Final 13 minutes plus stoppage time of the second half.
Yeah, and at this point, Dos Santos, he's got his goal. He's done his defensive work. He's tired. He's cramping up. And you don't lose too much bringing on the substitute with 5 goals, but you got fresh legs as well. It's a good move by de Guzman.
It was Sione who last game drew the penalty with 2 minutes left that led to Dos Santos' game-tying goal in their 2-2 draw against St. Louis.
And final stretch here, we'll look for Ottawa maybe to kind of not bunker down, but worry about the defensive side first. Rochester's going to have to push forward now as the home side and take some valuable points on home turf.
Yeah, another throw-in coming for Rochester. I noticed as Dos Santos was coming off, a few of the Rochester fans showing their appreciation for the time that he played there. Nice acknowledgement from Dos Santos as well, despite the goal tonight. Inside the box, and this will be a corner.
Dangerous opportunity coming up here for the Rhinos, who the roles have kind of flipped now. They've had some troubles here finding their rhythm in the run of play. They'll look for a restart, a free kick to make something happen here.
This is their 7th corner of the night. Julian Boucher, a low liner in the center of the box, and Boucher's going to now throw this one in. Former star at Syracuse, helped lead the Orange to their first Final Four in the program's 92-year history when he was in college. Here's Brown, quick throw into James on the right wing. Back to Farrell, strong shot, and Irving comes well off his line to field it.
Irving has been good tonight. He made a couple of big saves. He's quick off his line, powerful distribution, whether it's off the turf, and the punt that time, not one of his best, but he has been strong tonight.
64% save percentage on the season for Irving. This is his 26th game, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, has been on the field for every minute of the season. Bruna again looking for Campbell, and again offsides is the call coming from the near side of the field.
He can't catch a break. He's got his arms up in the air saying, "Are you kidding me?" Now de Guzman will have a word with the official as well. And Campbell still in disbelief.
This substitution for your Rochester Rhinos entering the match.
So Julian Boucher's night is done. Sofiane Turgu, a 26-year-old from France, will come on for the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time.
Now Turgu will take a spot in the middle of the field. Very smooth, very technical. He'll be the setup man. And look for him to distribute the ball and create some opportunities. A very talented player.
A series of headers on both sides. Abassi over to Campbell, who finally plays it with his foot. Has it poked away by Turgu. And James just loses control of the dribble. Farrell tries to step up. Sergio Campbell retreats. Pokes it off to the side as Tucker Hume was in hot pursuit. Hume gets it on the quick throw in from Reed. Trying to go around or through Campbell. Hume still controlling inside the box. Turgu trying to break that up. Inside a quick turnaround, and it hits the side of the net off the left foot of Cito Sione.
Sione not wasting any time getting involved in the attack, as he had to work through 2 or 3 defenders. Did a good job to even get a look at the goal. And that was a good opportunity for the substitute.
82nd minute here in the second half. Rochester held a 1-0 lead for the majority of the game off of Cristiano Francois' goal in the 20th minute. But Steven Dos Santos' penalty kick tying it in the 71st minute, and that's where we stand right now. Sofiane Turgu just into the game with fresh legs, finds Jalen Brown cutting to the near side. Back to Kennardo Forbes. Turgu gets behind the defense. No flag goes up. Forbes inside the box with the left foot. It goes off of the head of the defender Venter and out of bounds for a corner kick. That was missed kicks by Forbes. He had a great look.
Huge opportunity late in the game. And Kennardo Forbes normally is going to blast that one home. Turgu, we talked about it. He's going to come in and be very creative. Forbes may want to have taken this on the one touch. That second touch right there gives the defense enough time just to recover, and I thought they deflected it away.
I did too, and so did Forbes, but they're not even going to get a corner kick out of this. Referee saying that it was out of bounds off of the foot of Forbes, so a goal kick and a break, I think, for Ottawa.
It was clearly deflected away from the frame, but nonetheless, Forbes maybe a one-timer there. Would have been the choice.
Abbasi again controlling. And now they'll send it all the way back for Irving. Irving will send it into the offensive zone himself. Barden settles with the left foot. Back to Venter. Felix with the head, Barden, and now Felix a second time. Deflected, and a throw-in for the Rhinos.
It's going to take someone to bring the ball down, keep some possession, push the ball forward one way or another. It's just been between the two 18s back and forth. A little careless for both sides here late in the game.
Madison trying to get his footing. And I believe he draws a throw-in.
Long throw-in opportunity here for Lee, who's got the distance if he wants to back it up to that wall.
Throw-in right in the center of the box, headed out by Del Campo. Sent right back toward Francois. Can he control it on the edge of the box? Couldn't get a clean foot on it there. Knocked away by Dixon, and it hit the hand of Francois.
Whoever Francois is, Jamar Dixon seems to kind of work his way over and just kind of keep an eye on things, and that's really settled down Francois.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Pat O'Keefe, Joe Giuliano, 85th minute, second half here at Capelli Sport Stadium. Rhinos looking for their third consecutive win, their fourth in their last 5 games, seem to be on their way to doing so until a penalty kick in the 71st minute by Ottawa. Here's a quick restart, and again sent to Campbell, who's been the catalyst of the second half and almost gave Ottawa the lead. Lind saving it over the crossbar.
Rochester is going to have to find an answer to Andre Campbell. He has been very effective in this second half, and that swerving shot, Lind could do nothing else but just get a piece of it and up and over the bar.
And here in the 86th minute, just the second corner kick of the night for Ottawa. The first one came very early in the match as well. They go short once again to Barden. He sends it in himself from a better angle. It's headed backwards, and there's that man again, Campbell, one-times it back towards the goal. Abbasi heads it over to Adonijah Reed. Reed splits a couple defenders, still controlling. Nice touch over to Sione, a fellow reserve for Ottawa. Rochester can't clear. It's Sione again inside the box, edge of the box. Abbasi steps up to try to join the party. Abbasi working with the left foot, takes a shot as the ball is knocked out of bounds.
And that is a clear foul. The Rhinos, 2 players beaten. Abbasi, the third one, it wasn't going to happen. Forbes trying to fight the call, but clearly Abbasi tossed up and over the end line.
Abbasi's a big guy, a very big guy, maybe the biggest on the field. He doesn't fall down very easily. He took a shot.
And you can see that those quick little touches in that tight space create such havoc for the defenders. There's Abbasi, gets around 1, then the 2 wasn't going to happen there. He's taken down.
Fortunately for Rochester, it occurred just a yard or 2 outside the box, very near where Campbell drew the penalty in the 71st minute. Tough angle here for Ottawa, but a free kick nonetheless sent near the 6-yard box, headed back out. I believe Lee got his head on it.
Good, powerful header. That's the way you clear the ball defensively.
Not
up
a total
and
clear
away
yet.
to the side.
Good fight in the near corner here. A lot of action there, and now a shove after the call was made. The initial call was in favor of Rochester, but then a shove came after that. So we'll see how this gets sorted out.
It's getting physical. It's getting testy. Referee's going to push everyone away and try and take control of this, as both of these teams, crucial points on the line, as he's got his hands full tonight.
Heat of the moment, though, in this kind of game, though.
And it's Bruna again. Imagine that. He's involved. He's been a part of it. Going with Madison. Takes a little objection to the shove, and then a little more shoving going on, but nothing too bad there that a stern talking to won't take care of.
I think it's a good job by Colin Radislav, our referee. We're in the 88th minute. There are 2 crucial points possibly out there, and no cards being handed out. The final substitute of the game, Stefan DeFreger, the former star from Dartmouth, has replaced Jalen Brown. And after it is all said and done, and just as I said, that the referee didn't give out any cards, not a yellow, a red card for Gerardo Bruna, who I can only assume kept the conversation going well after that play.
Yeah, what had happened is they were having a pretty deep talk as they walked towards midfield. He actually issued the second yellow card to Bruna, now leading to his ejection. And this is not what Ottawa needs here, tied 1-1. They're just going to pack it in the back, look to get out of Rochester with a draw, playing a man down. But Bruna, he's been heated all night long. We saw it in the challenge in the middle of the park, down on the near side, and the second yellow card issued to him, and they're down a man.
You're right, Bruna did pick up that first yellow in the 63rd minute here in the second half. So a man down for Ottawa for the final minute plus stoppage time. I got to think we can go 5-6 minutes in stoppage time.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of stoppages. It's been a choppy second half. Bruna could have considered himself lucky not to pick up a card at that corner flag. You've got 55 yards, and you're still going after the official. There comes a point when your teammates have to come in and tell you,
so we'll
knock
see.
it off.
Rochester, which has controlled the action for most of the night, now playing with a man advantage for the rest of the evening. We'll see if that's something they can take advantage of. You've got to think if Rochester walks out of here with 1 point tonight, it'll be a disappointment.
Absolutely. 3 points was the goal all along for Ottawa. A draw, not the end of the world, at a very difficult venue to play, as this one has really shifted so many different directions tonight. Farrell is slow to get up, but De Guzman calling players over frantically, trying to get the right formation down for the final stretch here.
So we'll wait. David Russo trying to get the indication from Colin Radislav, and it will be 4 minutes of stoppage time, as we are now into stoppage time in this 1-1 game. Thought it might have been more.
I thought so too. And for Ottawa, they think it's too much.
And DeFreger, a miss kick there. A whiff.
Yeah, there's just going to be no urgency from Ottawa. They're going to take their time, get these restarts in play.
You played golf today. I hope you didn't have any of those whiffs out there on the golf course.
Let's leave that one alone.
Campbell skies it. Hume and Farrell battling.
Rhinos have to push. They've got to commit some numbers forward.
It starts with Forbes. He's got it left side, and there's Francois with some room to operate. Good first touch. Francois on the left-hand side, cuts inside the box. Now he cuts it back one more time. Francois putting on a bit of a display here. Maybe too much. Outside the box, he loses his footing, and it's taken away by Ottawa.
But look who was there. Dixon again.
He's all over the place. Great job on defense all night for Jamar Dixon, especially in the first half when Rochester was dominating this game. They could have been up 2-3-0 in the first half, and Dixon made a couple of huge stops. Another chance for the Rhinos. Here's Ryan James. Outside, Turgu. And there's that man again, Campbell. Good answer, though, by James. Corner of the box, Turgu. Off the head of Dixon, corner kick coming up. Now who will take it? Boucher's out.
The Rhinos kind of looked around with Boucher out. DeFreger said, I've got it. I'll step over here to the corner flag and deliver. This could be the game on the line here for both sides.
DeFrager, 24-year-old from Guilford, New Hampshire. Just onto the game, last man on to the game tonight. Right-footed kick, center of the box. Smacked a teammate in the face. I think it was Farrell. Now Farrell recovers, chips it towards the goal. Campbell and Campbell battling. And coming from behind is James. Nice recovery to DeFrager. DeFrager turns, cuts back towards the goal line, pushed from behind by Andre Campbell. Now DeFrager just took the corner. He's going to take this free kick as well. We are in stoppage time in a 1-1 game.
For my liking, Campbell much too lax on that end line with his clearance. He waited, the Rhinos pressured, they win the ball back, and look at the result. A huge free kick opportunity.
Could be the last good one of the night for the Rhinos, for either side. DeFrager with a goal this year. Good placement. Back of the box, now towards the center. And a high kick against Ryan Felix.
Dixon took that one up near the face. And a chance now for the Fury to catch their breath, to breathe. You've got Irving, who's been bombing these ones downfield. That's exactly what de Guzman and the Ottawa staff would like to see right here.
He wants him to take his time. Again, Ottawa playing a man down. The red card in the 89th minute. 2 yellows for Gerardo Bruna. And Hume has it go right through the wickets. Good touch by Reed. Andre Campbell stops it. Sends it inside the box. Adonijah Reed back to the goal. Turns towards the goal, cuts back inside, deflected and headed out by Farrell. Dixon keeps it in. Abbasi chips it ahead for Andre Campbell. Can he get there? He chips it center of the box, headed back outside by Felix. Abbasi and now Reed. Farrell and Rochester trying to clear, and both teams are going to go home with a point.
Frantic finish. Reed, the substitute, we didn't mention him enough. He did a tremendous job coming on late in the game, but this could have gone either way tonight.
Reed came into the game just before the momentum shifted. Andre Campbell had a great scoring opportunity that was saved by Dan Lind. After that, Andre Campbell drew the penalty. Steven Dos Santos scored to tie it up. And that'll happen right after Adonijah Reed came onto the pitch.
I think de Guzman, he's got to be happy overall. This is a very difficult place to come and play. They get the point. They almost pick up the victory with a couple of late opportunities. Questionable offside, so
yes,
it was a very interesting evening in Rochester.
That's absolutely right. Ottawa did put a second goal into the back of the net that was called back. A goal in the first half for Rochester, one in the second for Ottawa, and this one ends in a 1-1 draw here at Capelli Sport Stadium.
And now tonight's key bank save of the match. Credited save of the match to the Rhinos. Dan Lind, a great save on Andre Campbell in the 85th minute is tonight's key bank save of the match. Fans, once again, want to remind you that immediately following the meet and greet, stick around for the official post-match party right here at Capelli Sport Stadium. Food provided by the Genesee Brew House. It's your chance once again to meet your Rhinos players, coaches, and front office. That takes place immediately following the meet and greet, which will be starting shortly on the pitch. Your chance there to meet the players. Enter and exit the field near section 101. Rhino fans, be sure to make your plans to be with us on Saturday, September 30th for the next Rhinos home match. The Rhinos take on Louisville City FC at 6:05. Your Rhinos and Louisville FC right here at Capelli Sport Stadium on September 30th at 6:05. And on behalf of the staff, management, and players from your Rochester Rhinos, I'm Rocky Parada. Thank you for coming out this evening. Travel safe and have a great Saturday night.
Welcome back to Rochester. The Rhinos, the Fury, each going home with a point after a 1-all draw. Each going home with a point. I'm not sure if each team is going home happy. Rochester controlled a lot of the action. It was mascot and superhero night tonight at Capelli Sport Stadium. And Julian de Guzman, the head coach of Ottawa Fury, still looking for his first win as the team's head coach against Bob Lilly and the Rochester Rhinos, who were looking for their third straight. And early on, Rochester playing without Wall Fall relied a lot on Cristiano Francois.
Francois started this game gangbusters. Ottawa had to figure out who was going to slow him down. Dixon did that, but still the damage was done in the first 45 minutes by Francois. His pace, his timing was absolutely perfect tonight.
Yeah, and a great team effort, total team effort on the first goal in the 20th minute for the Rhinos.
Francois has been setting things up. This time he's on the end of it, but it's the hustle from James along the end line, puts it back across, and it's Francois with an easy header to put home.
Rochester seemed to have the game in hand, a 1-0 lead at halftime, midway through the second half, but Andre Campbell drew a foul and a penalty kick, and the former Rhino Steven Dos Santos stepped up and continued his hot streak.
He's just so calm and cool. He sees the keeper go one way, he goes the other.
And after that, 3 minutes after that, in fact, Ottawa seemed to take the lead by Andre Campbell.
From our looks up here, I thought he may have been onside, but referee's assistant in a better spot. Rhinos may have caught a break there.
Chippy play late on both sides as they were fighting each of them for those crucial 2 extra points. It resulted in a couple of yellow cards for Ottawa and ultimately a red card for Gerardo Bruno.
You know, playoffs on the line. There's a lot of tension. Players chipping at one another, but Bruna has to keep his composure to keep the teams at 11v11.
It's unfortunate because it came in the 89th minute. Ottawa is on the outside looking at the playoff race, and they probably can't afford to lose Gerardo Bruna for another game, but that's exactly what will happen.
Crucial player, the number 10 in the middle of the park, needs to be the anchor for this team.
Ottawa able to weather that storm, playing a man down for stoppage time, and they're able to get out of here and head back north of the border with a 1-all draw. So Rochester scoring in the first half, and Ottawa scoring on a penalty kick in the second. In the 71st minute by Steven Dos Santos, the former Rochester Rhino, his 5th straight game with a goal, and that is the final score tonight, 1-1. Well, that's the final, and that'll do it from Capelli Sport Stadium. For my partner, Joe Giuliano, our entire crew, I'm Pat O'Keefe. Thank you for joining us for this broadcast. Once again, the final score from Rochester, the Rhinos and the Fury played a 1-all draw.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.